I've seen a lot of small practice owners tell me they tried to save a few $100s by grabbing a cheap tabletop autoclave from a discount supplier, only to end up waiting ages for a cycle that never quite finished, or dealing with instruments that still feel damp after the dry phase. That kind of regret is what makes the decision to buy a sterilizer feel a lot heavier than picking a new scalpel. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. In this video I'm going to walk through why the Tuttnauer EDGE10S might feel like a smarter purchase for a busy clinic, a dental office, or any small-scale lab that can't afford a full-size, hospital-grade unit but still needs reliable, quick turnaround on instrument sterilization. First off, let's talk about the hesitation most of us feel before committing to a mid-range autoclave. The main worries are, will it actually fit in the space I have? Will the cycle time be short enough to keep my workflow moving? And, perhaps most importantly, will the machine hold up to the daily load without breaking down? The EDGE10S tries to answer those three concerns directly. Its chamber measures 10 inches by 18 inches, which is compact enough to sit on a standard countertop, yet it still offers more than 75% of that volume with 5 extra long trays. In practice, I've seen dental offices loading a full set of handpieces, scalers, and a few small trays of disposable items without having to keep a second cycle running in the background. That's a genuine time saver when you have a patient scheduled every 10 minutes. The real-world day-to-day experience pivots around that 36-minute wrapped instrument cycle. For many small practices, the biggest pain point is the drying phase. A partially dried set of instruments can lead to rust or, worse, patient infection risk. The EDGE10S claims a complete cycle including drying within that 36-minute window. In a typical morning schedule, you could run a load just before the first patient, have everything ready for the second, and still have time to fit in a quick second load before lunch. The key thing to notice is that the cycle isn't just fast, it's consistent. The machine's display continuously shows program status, water levels, and cycle time, so you're never left guessing whether the machine has finished or if there's a hidden error waiting to surface. Now, who should actually consider this model? If you run a dental practice with 2 to 4 operatories, a podiatry clinic, or a veterinary office that needs to sterilize a moderate amount of instruments each day, the EDGE10S hits a sweet spot. It's also a solid option for small research labs that need to sterilize glassware and tools but don't have the budget for a full-size, Class S unit with a massive footprint. The built-in documentation and traceability features barcode printing, cycle logs, and the ability to export data make it attractive for any environment where regulatory compliance matters. On the flip side, if you're a hospital department processing dozens of instrument sets per hour, or a large dental school with a high-throughput sterilization queue, you'll quickly outgrow the chamber size and the 36-minute cycle. In those settings, a larger, higher-capacity autoclave with faster cycle times and more robust load handling is the better investment. Strengths become clear when you compare the EDGE10S to those cheap alternatives that often skimp on things like door swing and load ease. The door opens to a generous 110 degrees, which means you can slide trays in and out without wrestling them around a tight hinge. In a busy clinic, that small ergonomic win translates into less strain on staff and fewer dropped trays. The machine also includes multiple documentation options, barcode generation, printable records, and built-in software for tracking each sterilization event. If you've ever needed to prove that a specific set of instruments was sterilized on a particular date, these tools save you a lot of paperwork and audit headaches. However, there are practical trade-offs you need to weigh. The 36-minute cycle, while respectable, is still longer than some high-end models that can sterilize in under 20 minutes. That isn't a deal-breaker for most small practices, but if you're looking to shave every minute off your turnover, you might feel the pinch. Also, the EDGE10S is a fully automatic S-Class unit, which means it handles the entire sterilization process without user intervention, but you do lose a bit of flexibility. For instance, you can't manually adjust the drying temperature or pressure on the fly, you're locked into the preset program that the machine runs. Most users find that fine, but it's something to keep in mind if you have very specific instrument requirements. Another hidden expense to consider is the water consumption. Autoclaves rely on a steady water supply, and the EDGE10S monitors levels on its screen, alerting you when it's low. The unit doesn't have an internal reservoir large enough to sustain multiple cycles without a refill, so you'll need to plan for a water source nearby. In practice, this isn't an issue for a clinic with a sink on the same countertop, but for a mobile lab or a field.